So Carla, fantastic having you here. Congratulations
Thank you.
On vice chair, and Corey's still chair, but you're moving into chair shortly. I've loved your partnership over many, many years here at Digital CPA. And what we're going to do right now, and you're going to learn so much, is to hear about your leadership strategies and how you're thinking about everything that's going on here at Digital CPA and really building the firm of the future. So maybe just a little bit more background on your firm, AAF. I mean,
Sure.
Carla has taken it from, I think, 16 million to 62 million. Some pretty impressive growth numbers, 300 employees nationwide, but maybe share a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, first, thank you for having me. I love this conference, so give me a minute to soak it in. I have lots of friends in the room. Hi, friends. But a little bit about AAF CPAs. We are a $62 million firm, top 100. We have just over 300 employees. And I think this topic of leadership is really important because you can't transform without the right leaders at the top that really understand it and support it. Our firm, when I sat in a managing partner seat in 2011, was very much a traditional firm, audit and tax. And then after attending this conference, and attending the council, really expanded our services. So now we have a just under $10 million CAS practice in 6 years, and a tech practice and a growing wealth management practice. We give 10% of our profits back of our net income back to the nonprofit community, and we celebrated 50 years of impact this year.
Wow. Well, that's really awesome. Just that give back, and I know you've got such a huge not-for-profit practice, and that is one of the best verticals that for the CAS area. So what we're going to talk about here, Carla, you and I met many different ways to kind of unpack how you've built success, but firm vision, the transformation of your practice area, working the wonderful change management category, how much we love that.
Yeah.
And then we're going to close on some very interesting concepts related to how Carla and AAF are driving employee engagement. So let's just kick it off let's unpack a little bit more, your firm vision and how you go about setting that.
Okay, before I get into the vision itself, I'll just focus on innovation for a little bit because I think that's why we're all here, right? Is to transform and innovate. And having a front row seat at council and coming to these conferences, I've been inspired by what I hear. There's always amazing speakers really getting us to think about what's possible. Mm-hmm. And being a person who has a high skill to connect the dots, I was able to come back to my firm and take action. And I think having someone who keeps that external view in the firm and in your departments is really, really important. And so what I was able to do is come back and say, okay, how do I want AAF CPAs to play in the transformation and innovation space? Back then, going back 5 or 6 years, it was about blockchain, right? Blockchain's going to take away the audit, right? Our firm is 60% assurance. And so it was a pain point. I took the videos that you guys show, I showed them to my partner group, and got alignment as, okay, we need to innovate. It started with me creating an innovation lab. We ran a change maker challenge, very successful. That moved to open innovation anytime, anywhere, then evolved to starting a data analytics practice, then robotics process automation, and now we're neck deep in generative AI.
None of this happens by accident. I mean, a lot of great elements. But you've got the vision. You bring these great ideas back.
Yeah.
How do you take it, to the next step?
Yeah.
Make it more practical, an operating plan.
Right. Well, if you read my LinkedIn, you'll see my passion is to work smarter, not harder. It's right in there. Okay, so that's my focus. So we refreshed our vision plan right before COVID hit. Right. It was end of 2019. I rolled it out at our annual meeting in February 2020. It was Vision Plan 2030. Mm. And it's centered around our 3 pillars, which is people, culture, and growth mindset. Mm-hmm. I put them in that order on purpose, and I told my partners they're in that order because we have to attract and retain top talent. We have to maintain our culture as we grow. I heard that in one of the sessions I attended. It gets harder to maintain your culture. And then growth, which isn't just about business development. Yes, we need to get new clients, but it's also about change management and getting everybody on board with that. And innovation is woven into all those pillars. And then we developed a strategic plan. So we have the vision plan is the end state. What do we want to look like in 10 years? And the strategic plan takes it in 2-year increments. So what are the actions we're going to do now? And they'll change over time to move the needle.
Well, I mean, that your action-oriented focus clearly kind of, I think, drove a lot of that huge growth from 16 to 60 million. So when you think about the transformation of practice areas, so now you've got the strategic vision, you've laid out, follows your overall vision. How do you do it by the different practice areas? And, maybe a little bit about some of the techniques that you put in place related to practice area transformation.
Yeah. So once you have alignment of your partner group, then obviously each practice area leader needs to also move the needle in their practice area, right? So I meet with all the practice leaders periodically throughout the year. And so I meet with all the leaders in there and we talk about their progress. And they report to me in the pillars, people, culture, growth, mindset, but it's practice area related. But there's 2 areas that I call out specifically in our strategy. One is what are they doing in the use of offshoring? And 2, who's keeping that external view and what technology are they looking at and how are they harnessing the power of automation in their groups? And I think if you can align the practice areas focus and it sort of dovetails into the firm focus, you have that alignment.
And you and I talked about this earlier, the external view. I mean, the external view has been so critical in your career. I mean, it was like a change moment for you in your career, right?
Yeah, I mean, our partner, you're like heads down trying to get the work out, right?
Yeah.
And once you sort of, I talk about this, my involvement with the Mass Society of CPAs got me to council, which changed the trajectory of my career. And really showed me the value of paying attention to what's happening in the industry. What are the changes? How can we be better?
Right.
Meeting people, network with people. There's some people that share more than others. We share liberally. We share things, liberally with other firms. In fact, I'm in a group of friendly, trusted managing partners of other firms that we have co-invested in 4 ventures together. We don't have the secret sauce. Meet people here. Get together outside of this conference. Share with each other, because I firmly believe if we all do better, the profession is better.
Well, Carla's a networker. I mean, you networked at the Hoover Dam.
I did.
She's like, Eric, I just met this firm at the Hoover Dam. I'm bringing her along. I'm like, that's awesome. So, all right. So this is it. So and it is. I mean, in Carla, you network during the day and at night. So now let's talk a little bit about kind of change management.
Yeah.
So how are you doing, and how are you making your staff so energized about kind of really change?
I know, and we weren't really always good at this. When we started our data analytics focus, that was sort of the kickoff of our R&D team.
Right.
I don't know if I mentioned, but we do have a team that isn't strapped by about billable hours, so they can really, use all this new technology. But when we started that, I took the lead of our healthcare practice and a technologist to a data analytics boot camp. That's the first time I saw the Gartner hype cycle. Mm-hmm. I know CPA.com charts all the technology on it. I use that to talk about change management in my firm, technology related or not. Because what it does brilliantly is it validates our feelings as humans as we go through change. So you could use ChatGPT. You have all these inflated expectations of it's going to save us all this time and this is all the cool stuff it's going to do. Then you start to use it and you're like, oh, we can't put all that data in there. Oh, it hallucinates. It's wrong. We got to check it. We got to put it in our own cloud. There's all these things. And then once you build use cases and you can put RPA on this and people get excited and it gets momentum, then you're on that upward trajectory. But I think it's important to validate feelings that it's going to get harder before it gets better. Mm-hmm. So we use that quite a bit in change management okay. I do want to highlight another tool that we use. Okay. I had the entire management team read a book called Scrum, How to Do Twice the Work in Half the Time. It's centered around software development, so you kind of got to get beyond that. We've used that for years, and it takes things in 2-week sprints, gets the team alignment, there's communication, and it gets you to the point, I call it press or pull. I forget what the book terms, but Are we going to press forward on this, or are we going to pull the plug? We have to fail fast when we're in transformation and change, because not everything is going to work.
Well, I'm a big believer in Scrum, and what we've done even with the audit solution over the last 5 years is we've used the Agile process. And big, complex project. The old days was like, doing waterfall, you do all the requirements, and then 4 years later, you do a big bang release. It doesn't work. You got to do these Agile sprints. So the Scrum philosophy, that's pretty impressive. I don't know how many, we're not going to poll and ask how many people are using that here in the audience.
I encourage you to read the book and use it. It works.
So, I think this is great. We're going to close now about employee engagement. And you've got a lot going on employee engagement. You said the other day someone asked you, what are you not doing? But we're going to talk about right now what you are doing. This is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I did a live webinar from here the other day, and that was one of the questions. And my answer was, what are we not doing? As a managing partner, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, we have a Zip to CPA program, which is an accelerator to the CPA. We subsidize the MBA program. We have executive coaches that sit in our firm. We have on-demand learning and development. We are work from anywhere. We promote any time of year, including partners. There's no one time, whatever. We're looking at compressed work weeks right now. It's interesting because sometimes I'm reflecting now to say, are we making assumptions as to what the issues are? And I have a talent management team that is going to completely change how we measure employee engagement, so we can get to it before they leave. One of the things that we do is we survey. You'll never get the truth from your exiting employees, by the way, in an exit interview, never. We do a survey 90 days after they leave. You will be amazed as to what they tell you. That has been very helpful. But there is a lot of this. I guess there's a couple of strategies I'll call out. We have executive coaches that sit in our firms. Yep. Some firms call them talent advisors. They are gold. Their sole job is to counsel the team members. They do full potential coaching. They do training. They're involved in onboarding. Their experience as they come into the firm. They have made a dramatic positive impact on our culture and on our team members. They get tons and tons of kudos. The other thing I'll call out, I talked about this last year on the town hall. It's leveraging the middle. Remember I talked about that? We're so good at leveraging partners, right? Every partner needs an EA, right? What are we doing for our senior supervisors and managers? They have a lot of administrative responsibilities. So we created a operations specialist role. Every division and practice area has one, and they can leverage them for engagement letters and billing and scheduling and client coordination, communication, whatever it is. Some of them actually monitor the SureLink portal for documents, et cetera. And then we created a project specialist team. We've had this, I don't know, maybe about 5 years. And that was hiring not necessarily 4-year degreed accountants, but they're smart people. We have business administration majors. We have education, people who used to be teachers in education, highly organized, smart, can learn. And we took, engagements or tasks that were traditionally done by audit and tax, and we've trained this group to do them. There's high collaboration and coordination, and so we've moved some of that work off of their plates. And I think leveraging that middle is really important.
As I said a moment ago, success doesn't come by accident. So there's a lot of great strategies that you've put in place. And so many things we've just said, but just let's look at your firm culture where you've got flex PTO, you've got work from anywhere, and it's working for you. And now you're even talking about a compressed work week. You don't have these hard policies. No, we're only going to promote you during the annual review. You promote when it makes sense. Partners any time of year. Wow. I mean, I think you might be getting some applications at the end of the day. When I took over,
when I sat in a managing partner seat in 2011, we were a very different firm. It was a founder transition, by the way. Someday I will write a book, maybe when he's not around. But I wanted to create a human first culture. We call it a people first culture. That was really important to me. We didn't have transparency. I wanted a lot of transparency. I wanted us to pay attention to people and acknowledge, what? We have lives outside of the office? Yes, we do. I'm very open in my calendar management. I do not hide things. People know when I get my nails done, my hair done, my kids, whatever it is. And so I think we just need to, and COVID did make us more human, by the way. That's one of the silver linings. So I think we're moving the needle, but that was really important for me at AAF.
Well, Carla, we're going to write some books during your chair year. I mean, this is amazing. I mean, just in 15 minutes, really thinking through everything you learn with the external view, putting together a vision plan, strategy, change management, and then, fundamentally, as you said, you always start with people.
Yes.
Your employees, how are you smart, really work-life balance. And over the last couple of years of the pandemic, you were, a lot of thinking, a lot of sharing. You were a leader that just shared, what was going on with you and the firm.
Yeah, I mean, we can't serve our clients without people. So why wouldn't we prioritize people first? Just makes all the sense to me.
Well, this has been this is what we do. I mean, CPA.com, we bring together leaders. We've got a great organization. But what you just saw here on stage is what we do every day of the year. We partner, we bring practitioners together. We work very closely with the AICPA. So great being with you this morning. As Michael said, it's a half day, but we've got a lot going on. So I'm going to bring Casey Johnson back up. But let's just a big round of applause for Carla McCall.
Yeah. Thank you.